We'll start with the invocation prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतम सावधूतम परिजन सहितम कृष्ण चैतन्य देवम श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वानुसुत देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्री वसादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming. So from today we will be starting the study of Nectar of Instruction in this batch number 5. We welcome devotees from other batches as well as we welcome all the devotees. So we'll today with the start of Nectar of Instruction, I have sent you all a chart, a shell chart. So we'll be populating that chart. We should have it in front of you. I'll have a slide for it on the screen. So we'll have a detailed discussion on the Nectar of Instruction overview plus preface at least. I will briefly touch base upon text 1 time permitting. And towards the end of every class, including today, I will describe about the spiritual endeavor so that you all have an opportunity to keep endeavoring on spiritual endeavors every day. We'll discuss mandatory spiritual endeavor for every week to surcharge your spiritual path. Now, Nectar of Instruction book looks like a very tiny book. Each statement in this Nectar of Instruction book is very, very deep. Looks like a very tiny book, but it's a very important book. It's a very practical book. Me personally, Nectar of Instruction is among my favorite books. And the standard endeavor, like Bhagavad Gita, will be to read the text that we cover, and you will need a lot more time to read instead of just say allocating 15 minutes. Like looks like physically is a very short book and you may only have 2-3 pages to read, but don't allocate 15 minutes to read. You will have a lot of points to contemplate because each statement, Nectar of Instruction, is very, very deep. And towards the end of our class today, as part of spiritual endeavor, I will describe for you all to listen to a highly recommended Srimad Bhagavatam lecture on how our body is constructed, that our body, our senses, and this material world is created largely out of ignorance. So you will understand the correlation with Nectar of Instruction, that why I am asking that Srimad Bhagavatam to lecture to listen to. Everybody with me so far?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So we'll follow from the screen, and first an announcement that for this batch 5 class recordings, I request you all to please message Sumnima for class recordings that you get. Sumnima's number is +977 984 157 3434. So Sumnima is physically in Nepal. Sumnima is very diligent to respond to your messages as soon as possible, except for the timing difference, because we are here in North America. So if you happen to get a recording, say at a time when it is afternoon time here in Toronto and around area, by all means, you can message me. And if I am not on the road, then I can also send it to you as soon as possible. But otherwise, try to get your class recordings from Sumnima. And Sumnima, for you, two devotees at least, which is Meghna Samant and Lakshmi, they generally have alternative weeks where they work on at the class time. So obviously they will need recordings. Although Lakshmi is present virtually today, but generally both Meghna Samant and Lakshmi have generally alternate weeks or at least twice a week, a month or more, when they have work and they will listen to recordings.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
All right. So nectar of instruction, you have the chart on the screen and each box will get populated or highlighted in yellow, which you will populate. So at the top, you can always write down that this is nectar of instruction overview and preface on page 1 of your shell document. So for the leftmost box, top left box, you don't have enough space. You might as well take notes on a different page by referencing this box. So the importance of 4 books that we cover and which are there in the Bhakti Shastri course as well. The 4 important books are Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, Nectar of Instruction, and Nectar of Devotion. Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad establish that Bhagwan, Krishna, is the highest sadhya. Sadhya means goal, that Krishna is the highest goal. And from the various processes or various paths to reach this goal, bhakti process is the easiest sadhana. Sadhana means process. Bhakti is the easiest sadhana which grants you the highest destination. Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion are the practice books of the philosophy described in Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad. That how bhakti is to be practiced is described in Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion. So philosophical understanding comes from Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad, and the practical application of that philosophy is through Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion. Now Bhagavad Gita has brief directions on how to do bhakti. Example, it gives, there are a few verses I will quote, I won't quote all. Say some examples, that 10.9, 9.14, 9.34, there are many verses, 8.7, 9.26, 9.27, 7.1, 18.65, there are a few others. They explain briefly how bhakti has to be practiced. Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion has detailed description on how to practice bhakti. Bhagavad Gita analyzes various processes and establishes the supremacy of bhakti. Nectar of Instruction does not mention these other processes such as Ashtang Yoga uh, or Karma Yoga or Gyan Yoga. It does not mention because Nectar of Instruction assumes that you have accepted bhakti is the best way and now you want to progress more on the path of bhakti. Now your focus is how to practice bhakti. So you have already come to that conclusion that bhakti is what I want to practice and bhakti is the best way. Now Nectar of Devotion will compare bhakti with other processes and will again glorify the supremacy of bhakti compared to the other processes and then start with details of bhakti, describing 64 qualities or 64 items of devotional service, as well as qualities of Bhagwan as well. So Nectar of Devotion has deeper practical instruction on the bhakti rasa. So I'm only briefly describing few points about Nectar of Devotion. We'll have a detailed discussion later on after we finish Nectar of Instruction. So coming back to Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Instruction also looks at commentary from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as well as, of course, we have Srila Prabhupada's commentary as well. So Nectar of Instruction elaborates the processes of bhakti and enables us to apply these principles in our day-to-day life. The Nectar of Instruction is not that you do it 2 hours on the weekend. No, it is for our day-to-day life. We have to dovetail our spiritual learnings into our material life and overlap the wheel of material life and the wheel of spiritual life. We overlap or try to bring them as close as possible. So as I said at the start, that each statement in Nectar of Instruction is very, very deep. Seems like a very tiny book, but it's a very important book. And for every week's endeavor, you will need a lot more time to complete your endeavor, because you will have to contemplate on each statement in Nectar of Instruction. So for those who are still in the process of studying Bhagavad Gita systematically, it is okay to study Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion, Shishopanishad, etc. books together, as long as it's instructor led. But understand that you still need to first have a solid understanding of Bhagavad Gita, because Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion are practical applications of Bhagavad Gita principles. So if you don't know the Bhagavad Gita principles, what are you going to apply? Therefore, yes, simultaneously you are studying, which is very good. But you need to realize that you need to have a solid understanding of Bhagavad Gita principles as well. So at our initial Bhagavad Gita class discussion, we have discussed that from Narad Muni's personal example, where he has described in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.24, that discipline is the first step on the path of spirituality. So Srila Prabhupada's direct instruction is to not jump forward on scriptures, thinking that by jumping forward on scriptures, I will become advanced. No, that's a misconception. You will not become advanced by jumping forward on scriptures. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada says, is Prabhupada's direct instruction to study all scriptures as well as don't jump forward. Study in sequence. You can study simultaneously, nothing wrong, but don't jump forward on scriptures without having an understanding of basic scriptures. The basic scriptures, the 4 basic scriptures are, which we'll cover, is Bhagavad Gita, Sheshopanishad, Nectar of Instruction, and Nectar of Devotion. And then we will come to the advanced scripture of Srimad Bhagavatam. I will pause here for any questions, comments, realizations. Okay. So on the page 1 of your shell chart, top right corner, you have 7 points to write. These are Nectar of Instruction themes. So the essence is practice of bhakti. In the essence of Nectar of Instruction is practice of bhakti. But there are 7 themes described. So make notes and I will describe right now. First is mind and sense control. Is described in text number 1, 2, and 3. So Nectar of Instruction verses are labeled as text. They are verses, but they are labeled as text. So first theme is mind and sense control. Is described in text number 1, 2, and 3. Second theme is attitude. Attitude in spiritual life and towards devotees and towards the process. Third, ISKCON's purpose. That how ISKCON is fulfilling the purpose by providing sadhu sangha. Basically, ISKCON is a facility to apply Nectar of Instruction principles. Fourth theme is Guru and disciple relationship. Fifth is Sadhu Sangha. There's a very important principle of Nectar of Instruction. Sadhu Sangha means association of devotees. That how we should associate with devotees and how we should not associate with devotees. Basically, we should associate with like-minded devotees, and other devotees are also devotees, but you just say Hare Krishna and you move on. We'll discuss all that in great length. Sixth theme is hierarchy of devotees. Means the kinds of devotees. That how do we know the kinds of devotees, their behavior, and their qualifications. And the seventh theme is bhakti, the stages and development, which we'll discuss the various stages of bhakti, the gradual development of bhakti. Plus, of course, this bhakti component, there is more discussion in Nectar of Devotion as well. In Nectar of Instruction is brief and more detailed in Nectar of Devotion. So this how gradual development of bhakti is the theme of Nectar of Instruction. I will pause here. Any questions, comments, realizations so far? All right. We will now switch to page number 2 of your shell document. It's again, the title is Nectar of Instruction Overview. You will notice on your printout, on the left side, there are 2 arrows starting from the top and running downwards. One arrow, which is in bold, says Sadhana Bhakti, And the other arrow, although running parallel from the start, is little lighter from the start and then becomes bold partway through, is Raganuga Bhakti. We'll discuss these points. For the time being, I have laid this over here. These two arrows and the points about Sadhana Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti are there in Nectar of Devotion. I have overlaid here, and we will, when we reach that conversation, we will realize the importance of overlaying these two arrows here. We'll cover Sadhana Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti in Nectar of Devotion, and that time we will see the relevance of overlaying these two arrows on the Nectar of Instruction overview chart. So on your chart, page number 2, you have boxes. So they kind of are on the left side and the right side, although the size of boxes is slightly different. At least one box is slightly different. So each box will get highlighted in yellow, and I will explain what you are supposed to populate in those boxes. So first box on the top left corner, where you have the sequence of 1 to 9. So these are the 9 stages of bhakti. So don't get confused the 9 stages of bhakti with the 9 processes of bhakti. So the 9 processes of bhakti are described in Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.23, which starts with Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Those are 9 processes of bhakti. And here we are going to populate 9 stages of bhakti, which starts from Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, all the way to Prema. So first, where you have on the left side written as 1, first of the 9 stages of bhakti is Shraddha. Shraddha means faith. So continue to write on your left side only. Everything that you are supposed to write for each of the boxes on the left side should fit on the left side of the boxes. The right side is a different story. We'll come to that later on. So first is Shraddha or faith, that our preliminary inquisitive attitude is to inquire about Hare Krishna or about spirituality. That what is the meaning and purpose of life. So Srila Prabhupada says this initial inquiry, this is positive curiosity. So Shraddha or faith has to be expressed through action. This is initial stage. Therefore, we go to a devotee or spiritual master and inquire. Second stage is Sadhu Sangha. In association of devotees, we learn to practice devotional service. Sadhu Sangha is a very elaborate aspect of Nectar of Instruction. So Sadhu Sangha is like going to a doctor. Next box, you have stages 3, 4, 5, and 6 in one box. So write little small and it should fit. Still continue to write on the left side. So stage number 3 is Bhajana Kriya. Means practice of devotional service. Is like spiritual treatment. So in stage number 2, you had gone to a doctor, that is Sadhu Sangha. And Bhajana Kriya you are practicing, that is like you are taking the treatment. Stage number 4 is Anartha Nivritti. So next stage is that after taking the spiritual treatment, we start getting cured. So what does Anartha mean? Artha means something that has meaning, and Anartha means that which has no meaning, that which is undesirable. And Nivritti means to retire. So Anartha Nivritti means we retire the anarthas because they have no meaning. So sensual desires of lust, anger, greed, pride, illusion, all these have no meanings. These are anarthas. But we assume they have some meaning. So anartha nivritti means we stop the misconceptions of giving meaning to that which has no meaning. Everybody with me so far?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Fifth stage is nishtha, or strong faith. So when misconceptions retire, our faith increases. So follow the analogy of the doctor and the treatment, that we get cured from the treatment, we feel better, we see that the treatment is working, and we want to become fully healthy. So initial stage 1, the initial Shraddha can be shaken, can be uprooted. But Nishtha, strong faith, that cannot be shaken, is deeply rooted like a banyan tree. Sixth stage is Ruchi, or taste. So as you become cured, you become spiritually healthy. You develop taste for Krishna consciousness. So right now, I have taste for material or sensual things. But I have to develop taste for Krishna and service for Krishna. I may have glimpses of this taste of spirituality, but Ruchi is a very deep taste of Krishna consciousness. Seventh stage is Asakti. One goes deeper and gets attached. When we experience the joy or taste of devotion, then we become attached to devotion and to Krishna. To explain Asakti with a negative example, that just as a drug addict, he cannot live without drugs. So it's a negative example that he is so attached. But Asakti is positive attachment towards Krishna. I'm just trying to, with the negative example of the drug addict, I'm just trying to emphasize the degree of attachment that a drug addict may have for drugs. Eighth stage is bhava, or spiritual emotion. So bhava is preliminary to prema stage. Prema stage is the full development of love. Full development of love for Krishna. So preliminary stage example is like a little ray of sunlight peeking through a hole or through the edge of a curtain. And prema is like the full sun. And the ninth stage is prema. So prema is comprehensive, all-consuming love for Krishna, which fully floods our heart for love for Krishna. That we feel there is no need for worldly attraction. Devotees in Vrindavan and in the spiritual world live this life, and this is the ultimate goal of our life, to achieve prema for Krishna. I will pause here for any questions, comments, realizations on the 9 stages. Silence. I got silence.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I think I might have missed some points from the very first column. If I can get it later.
You can listen to the recording and you will.
Okay, thank you.
Lakshmi?
Hare Krishna. It seems to me that, like we learned when we were earlier stages of Bhagavad Gita, it seems to me that all these processes, they are not linear. Like, although they're described as stages.
So these processes are linear. These 9 stages are linear. Processes, okay. Understand that these 9 stages, you cannot skip any of these 9 stages. It is possible that you can have these stages running in parallel for you. That is possible.
Okay.
But you cannot skip any of these stages.
Yeah. No, I don't mean skip. I mean, like, some of them seem to be so closely related, like giving up taste, like developing taste, but giving up the interest in like the meaningfulness of things that we do. Like, it seems
You are correct that yes, that they are all linked processes, that you will follow one after the other, all of them. But you cannot skip any one of them. And understand that for some, one of the process could be longer and the same process for another devotee could be shorter. Anartha Nivritti stage number 4, is a perfect example. For many of the devotees, the Anartha Nivritti stage is generally the longest length of stage, means the length of how long it takes to clear the anarthas. For many, this is a very long period. But for some devotees, anartha nivritti could be very short. So it's not that the length of the stage is fixed for everyone. Everyone will have their own length. But essentially, they are progressing in the right direction from initial Shraddha to Prema. That's our goal. Lakshmi and everybody?
like, it's not possible to have like prema stage like earlier on, and that is what drives you to getting rid of anatta.
we will discuss in Nectar of Devotion. So the last discussion in Nectar of Devotion, we'll do a comparison between Sadhana Bhakti, Raganuga Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti, and Prema Bhakti, where I will give you 10 points for each of these 4 processes that one follows, or each of these 4 levels that one reaches. So this Sadhana Bhakti is one level, Raganuga Bhakti is another level, Bhava Bhakti is another level, and Prema Bhakti is another level. So there are 10 pointers I will give you for each one of them. And you can judge whether you are at Prema Bhakti or not. So generally, it is very difficult to reach to Prema Bhakti without clearing Anartha Nivritti stage. It's very difficult. Because Anartha means what? I am attached at bodily level. So if I am at bodily level, it is next to impossible to have Prema for Krishna. Lakshmi?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. I suppose it'll get clearer, but I just wanted to say that, like, when we started the Gita class, like, I had this vague concept of I love God,
Yeah.
which is why I'm trying to study the scriptures.
Yeah.
But then as we studied the scriptures, who is that God and what is that God became more clearer, and what
Very
is
good.
he expecting. But in the same way, like, I felt like that was the impetus, which, like, it may not be love for Krishna, but it was like kind of a love for God.
So that was
the
initial
incentive.
Shraddha. So that wasn't love. That was initial
Okay.
Shraddha.
Okay.
So we have discussed few times, what does love mean? Love means service. So Lakshmi, you said you thought you have love for God. You tell me how much services you do for Krishna at your home temple or temple?
No, nothing. I don't even have a home temple.
Exactly. So how can you say you have prema? Love means service. And an example for love in the material world, very close example of that love that exists in the spiritual world, the unconditional love in the spiritual world. The very closest example to that is the love of mother for a newborn child. That the mother is simply enjoying in serving the child. The child is doing all sorts of nuisance or being very childish, but the mother is having that love and the fun to just serve the child. That is unconditional love, right? Love means service. So yes, it is very good that you thought you have love, but at least now you understand that, no, I have to develop that love. That will become crystal clear from our Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion discussion that, okay, now we have understood. So Lakshmi correctly pointed out that how she understood correctly, who is this God? That, oh, he is Krishna, he is a person. And from Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion, and then Srimad Bhagavatam, we will understand lot many things about Krishna and how to love Krishna, how to serve Krishna. Lakshmi, everybody?
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Yeah, it's clear. Thanks.
Very good. Rest of you? Ask questions. It's a best way to understand your concepts. Monarch Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So Prabhu, stage number 3 to 6 are in one box. So is there any reason like they are linked to each other?
Yeah, it's coming up. When you populate the right side of the box, will get cleared.
Okay, Prabhu. Okay.
All right. So question becomes, how do we come to the stage of prema? So we have, say, initial Shraddha. All of us have some Shraddha towards Krishna. So how do we come to the stage of prema? The answer is, it is by steady practice of devotional service. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains that Bhakti Lata Bij is a creeper given by Guru and is to be protected in two ways. Means the Bhakti Lata Bij is to be protected in two ways. First is build a fence so that predators do not come in to damage or destroy your bhakti. So building a fence means you follow the 4 regulative principles. That's your fence. And second point about how to protect the Bhakti Lata Bij is that Bhakti Lata Bij is to be watered so that it grows and it gives the fruit of love of God or prema of God. And that watering of the Bhakti Lata Bij is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this is what Nectar of Instruction talks about. Therefore, this Nectar of Instruction, it looks like a very tiny book, is a very important book which will guide us on the path of devotion. So actually follow Srila Prabhupada's life. This Nectar of Instruction Prabhupada translated towards the very, very end of his life. Because Prabhupada felt the need that this one book, Nectar of Instruction, was a missing link. And Prabhupada translated towards the very end before going back to spiritual world. Of course, Prabhupada translated Srimad Bhagavatam to the very moment of death. But among the books that he was translating, this Nectar of Instruction is towards the end of his life when he translated. All right, so now we will populate the right side of the table. We'll start from the top. So these are Nectar of Instruction text. So I'm going to correlate. On the left side, we have 9 stages of bhakti, from Shraddha to Sadhu Sangha to Bhajana Kriya to all the way to Bhava and Prema. And on the right side, I'm going to correlate the Nectar of Instruction text, which explain each of these stages. And each of these texts, I'm also going to give you a brief 1-sentence explanation that what is covered in that respective text. So on the right side, the title is Nectar of Instruction text. And then besides the first left box of Shraddha, you have 3 rows which correspond to text number 1, text number 2, and text number 3 of Nectar of Instruction. So text number 1 is controlling the 6 bodily urges of speech, mind, anger, tongue, belly, and genitals. Text number 2 describes 6 obstacles on the path of devotion. Text number 3 describes 6 principles that help the practice of devotion. Everybody with me? Everybody understands the flow?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Now, you have the second left box of Sadhu Sangha, and you have 3, on the right side, you have 3 rows which correspond to text number 4, text number 5, and text number 6. So text number 4 explains 6 loving exchanges among like-minded devotees. So these are very important things for advancing in Krishna consciousness, these 6 loving exchanges. You can use these as a barometer to measure your advancement in Krishna consciousness. So we have discussed this from the start of Bhagavad Gita, that we have to try to develop relationship with devotees, not just doing activities for the sake of doing it, but we have to develop relations, because to revive relations with Krishna, first we have to develop relationship with devotees of Krishna. So text number 1, 2, 3 and 4 are key memorization text in nectar of instruction, and we will spend bulk of our time on these first 4 texts. Text number 5 is associate according to levels of advancement. This talks about the levels of devotees. So there is Kanishta Adhikari, which is lowest. Madhyam Adhikari is middle. And Uttam Adhikari is the highest level of devotees. Text number 6 is associate with pure devotees. So in text number 6, there is a warning given that don't be offensive or don't have materialistic mindset when you are associating with pure devotees. Next box on the right is very tiny box. Will answer Monarch Prabhu's question, that on the left side you have stages 3 Bhajana Kriya, 4 Anartha Nivriti, 5 Nishta and 6 Ruchi. All get answered. On the right side you can say text number 7, which explains chanting of the holy name is the essence. So chanting the holy name is the scientific process to end our material disease and regain our original Krishna consciousness. Monarch Prabhu, does that help you?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
So on your left side, you have box number 7 for Asakti. And on the right side is text number 8, spontaneous devotional service in practice, where we will discuss why to train the mind and how to train the mind. Many of you have heard that mind control lecture in our Bhagavad Gita. It actually comes from here. On your left side, you have 8 stage of Bhava and 9 stage of Prema. On the right side, you have 3 boxes to correspond to text number 9, 10 and 11. Text number 9 describes hierarchy of material and spiritual worlds. Text number 10 describes hierarchy of different types of human beings. Text number 11 describes the glories of Shri Radha Kund. Everybody have your page number 2 fully populated? Make sense how the flow is of Nectar of Instruction? I've basically given you a lot of oversight of Nectar of Instruction. Yes, no, I want to hear from everyone.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Eknath Samant.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Go ahead, you have a question? Make.
No, I didn't. Sorry.
All right. Monarch.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have a question related text number 6. So Prabhu, I myself is not a pure devotee, then how can I judge other person? Because I cannot be the judgmental, right? So
Yeah. Very good. So the um, the text number 5 describes the characteristics of Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, and Uttam Adhikari levels. These levels are described for you, not to judge others, but these are described for you. There are characteristics for each one of them so that you can judge whether you are progressing and progressing in the right direction. So when we'll discuss those characteristics, you can say, wait a minute, I am a Kanishta, I am a neophyte. So what is it that I have to do to come to Madhyam level? Srila Prabhupada has said that all of us should come to Madhyam Adhikari level, and even if somebody is at Uttam Adhikari level, they should come down to Madhyam Adhikari level because it's easier to preach at Madhyam Adhikari level. We'll discuss those points when we reach there. Monak Prabhu, does that answer?
yes, Prabhu. And Prabhu, like text number 6 is associates with pure devotee. So we cannot like how can we identify that he's a devotee and pure devotee? So
Yeah, so the Uttama, in text number 5, it will explain Uttamadhikari, and basically text number 5 will itself say Uttamadhikari, your association is by serving Uttamadhikari. So in text number 6 is just a continuation of that Uttamadhikari discussion from text number 5. You associate pure devotees by serving pure devotees.
okay, Prabhu, thank you.
Very good. Rest of you?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So the text number 7 says chanting the holy name, and then like it helps us to get rid of the anarthas, and it helps us to get more bhajan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And like, can someone be on like 2 or 3 stages at one time?
Yeah,
Or
I already described that these stages can run in parallel. There is no watertight compartment division of all of these. They can run in parallel. And specifically, the first 4 stages will definitely run in parallel because that purification means the anartha nivritti will continue to happen while you are doing sadhu sangha and bhajana kriya, right?
yes,
So
Prabhuji.
they will run in parallel.
And then the chanting will develop the ruchi.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So chanting is the process to destroy the anathas as well as to develop the positive taste or ruchi.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Very good inquiry. Rest of you?
So, Prabhuji, I think, all these instructions, right, whenever we are doing our daily, like whenever we are going through our daily life, we don't think about all these instructions, or a devotee doesn't go back and check whether I'm following all these instructions or not. So, I think this is more for self-reflection to understand whether you are on the right path. That is my understanding.
Yeah, so yes, you should reflect. So yes, many don't reflect, but you all at least start reflecting from this point on that am I progressing in the right direction? So nectar of instruction in 11 text takes you from initial Shraddha all the way to Prema. So you keep observing yourself. Am I coming out of anarthas? Am I developing spiritual qualities? This overview chart, have it in front of you, paste it on a board or fridge or someplace to keep observing yourself. Where exactly am I progressing? And do understand that you will keep going back and forth like a pendulum initially till you become steady. So don't get disheartened initially because it's a process of purification. But Kunal Prabhu made a very good point that if you are not observing yourself up to now, start observing. Kunal Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Very good. So as I explained that this Nectar of Instruction seems like a very tiny book, but is a very important book and is a very deep book. The discussions in this book are very deep. You will need a lot of time to complete your spiritual endeavors every week for this book. So we will read from Nectar of Instruction Preface, paragraph number 1. Lakshmi, are you able to read Preface, paragraph number 1? Do you have the book?
Hare Krishna, I don't have the book, but I can see it on Veda Base online.
All right. Yeah, okay, go ahead, read.
Sorry. Yes, text 1.
Not
so
text. No. Preface.
Preface?
Preface. Go to Preface and read paragraph number 1.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. The Krishna consciousness movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. The Gaudiya Vaisnavas or Bengali Vaisnavas are mostly followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of whom the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavana are direct disciples. Therefore, Srila Narottama Dasa Thakura has sung Rupa Raghunatha Padeha Ibe Akuti Kabe Hama Bujabase Yugala Triti. When I am eager to understand the literature given by the Goswamis, then I shall be able to understand the transcendental loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in order to bestow upon human society the benediction of the signs of Krishna. The most exalted of all the activities of Lord Krishna are his pastimes of conjugal love with the gopis. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the mood of Srimati Radharani, the best of the gopis. Therefore, to understand the mission of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow in his footsteps, one must very seriously follow in the footsteps of the 6 Goswamis, Sri Rupa Santana Bhatta Raghunatha, Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta, and Dasa Raghunatha.
Okay, very good. So, question for all of you. Who started Krishna consciousness, or who fast forwarded, or who did everything for us for Krishna consciousness movement for ISKCON?
Srila Prabhupada did.
Okay, rest of you?
Srila Prabhupada.
Okay, rest of you?
Prabhuji, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
Okay, rest of you?
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Very good. I have so many answers. Rest of you, who did all this Krishna consciousness and ISKCON for all of us?
Prabhuji, the Goswamis.
All right. Anybody else wants to attempt?
Prabhupada.
All right. So many of you said Prabhupada. So yes, you are correct that Prabhupada did a lot of things for us which are visible for us. Of course, the Krishna conscious movement was fast forward first by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then by Goswamis, and then by Srila Prabhupada. But of course, for us, we know that Prabhupada did everything for us. But look at the humility of Srila Prabhupada. What's the first statement Srila Prabhupada has written in the preface? Somebody wants to read the first statement in first line in preface? Somebody read.
Hare Krishna. The Krishna consciousness movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami.
Prabhupada did everything for us, and Prabhupada's humility is he's taking no credit for himself. He's saying everything is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. So this is the humility of Srila Prabhupada. This is the glorious Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada has no attachment at all. Everything, I mean, look at it. For us, everything is Srila Prabhupada. But he's giving all credit to Srila Rupa Goswami. So who is this Srila Rupa Goswami? So Gaudiya Vaishnavas are followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the 6 Goswamis are direct disciples of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we read the names in the preface just a few minutes ago, towards the end of paragraph number 1 in preface. So these are the 6 Goswamis, which is Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Bhatta Raghunatha, Jiva Goswami, Gopala Bhatta, and Dasa Raghunatha. So Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami are brothers. So Srila Rupa Goswami is the leader of the 6 Goswami. So it is Srila Rupa Goswami who has given us this nectar of instruction and nectar of devotion. So in Sanskrit, so Srila Rupa Goswami gave nectar of instruction in Sanskrit, which is known as Upadeshamrit. So Upadesh means instruction and Amrit means nectar. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada translated nectar of instruction, Upadeshamrit, as nectar of instruction. And Srila Rupa Goswami also gave us nectar of devotion. In Sanskrit, it is Bhakti Rasa Amrit Sindhu. We'll discuss this when we reach nectar of devotion. So we all are Rupanugas. Rupanuga means we are all followers of Srila Rupa Goswami. To understand the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we have to follow in the footsteps of 6 Goswamis. So Shikshashtakam are the 8 verses or the 8 instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the highest ecstasy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Upadeshamrit or nectar of instruction is the highest ecstasy of Srila Rupa Goswami. So Srila Rupa Goswami gave us nectar of instruction to guide our daily activities so that we all can become Goswami. Okay, so we will now read preface paragraphs number 2 and 3 as well. They are all related to Rupa Goswami. So on your overview page 1, I have this middle left box where you can populate all this information about Rupa Goswami. Ritu, preface paragraph number 2 and 3.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, preface paragraph 2. When I am eager to understand the literature given by the Goswamis, then I shall be able to understand the transcendental loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in order to bestow upon human society the benediction of the science of Krishna. The most exalted of all the activities of Lord Krishna are his pastimes of conjugal love with the gopis. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the mood of Srimati Radharani, the best of the gopis. Therefore, to understand the mission of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow in his footsteps, one must very seriously follow in the footsteps of the 6 Goswamis. Sri Ropa, Sanatana, Bhatt Raghunatha, Sri Jiva, Gopala Bhatt, and Das Raghunatha. Sri Rupa Goswami was the leader of all the Goswamis, and to guide our activities, he gave up this Updesmrita, the nectar of instruction, to follow. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left behind him the 8 verses known as Sikshastaka, Rupa Goswami gave us Updesmrita so that we may become pure Vaishnavas. In all spiritual affairs, one's first duty is to control his mind and senses. Unless one controls his mind and senses, one cannot make any advancement in spiritual life. Everyone within this material world is engrossed in the moods of passion and ignorance. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness, Sattvagun, by following the instructions of Rupa Goswami, and then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed.
Okay.
Hare
So,
Krishna.
so you have on your page 1 of your printout, you have the middle left box where you can populate brief points about Rupa Goswami. I mean, I have already explained so many points. So Krishna consciousness is under Rupa Goswami. So this is Srila Prabhupada's profound sense of humility and connectivity with previous acharyas and parampara. Srila Prabhupada does not say that this movement is under my supervision, even when Srila Prabhupada started ISKCON single-handedly. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave 4 missions to his associates, means to the 6 Goswamis, and took them to Vrindavan. So these 4 missions that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to these 6 Goswamis are: first is build temples to glorify Shri Radha Krishna. Second, rediscover lost places of pastimes of Shri Radha Krishna. Third, write literatures establishing supremacy of devotional service as the ultimate teaching of Vedic literature. And fourth is exemplify and teach the practice of pure devotional service. Questions, comments, realizations? So on your chart, on the middle right box, I left it for Srila Prabhupada's point. There were a few points I mentioned. Any questions, comments, realizations? Okay. So now on your page 1, the bottom left box can write the title as Need for Self-Control. Meghna?
I was just reflecting on these points, and I'm thinking that it's like a headmaster telling the teachers how to make an educational curriculum and how to exemplify it.
Yeah, exactly. Absolute correct understanding. Very good. So on your page 1, the bottom left corner or the bottom left box is, you can call it need for self-control. So spiritual life requires self-control. Without self-control, there cannot be steady practice of spiritual life. Body and soul are opposite to each other. Body is material and soul is spiritual. So spiritual life means to regain spiritual consciousness, means to give up bodily consciousness. Bodily consciousness is caused by my uncontrolled mind and senses. Example, I want this, I want that, I want blah, 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 goes on and on. So as soon as sense objects come in front of us, they cause forgetfulness of our spiritual identity. As long as we are controlled by the senses, the soul's consciousness becomes riveted to the body and the desires of the body. Therefore, we need to have a diligent, regular sadhana. So I want Raksha to read in the preface. So the paragraph that Ritu already read, paragraph number 4, which starts with in all spiritual affairs. It's a very short paragraph, number 4, that talks about the need for self-control.
Yes, Prabhuji. In all spiritual affairs, one's first duty is to control his mind and senses. Unless one controls his mind and senses, one cannot make any advancement in spiritual life. Everyone within this material world is engrossed in the modes of passion and ignorance. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness, Sattva Guna, by following the instructions of Rupa Goswami, and then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed.
So, mind and sense control. So, if you recall, one of the theme we populated at the top top part of page 1, the top right box. The very first is mind and sense control. So we haven't even started reading the text, and in preface at the very start, Prabhupada is explaining the need for mind and sense control. The preface, from the preface and introduction we'll soon read, Prabhupada has already given us so many important points right in the preface and introduction. Questions, comments, realizations? Monarch.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, question regarding this Sattva Gun mode of goodness. So, if one can practice Krishna consciousness in mode of goodness, then why it is still required to be transcendental, like beyond 3 modes of nature?
Yeah, mode of goodness is still material mode. It's just that it's easier to move to transcendence from the mode of goodness. If somebody is in the mode of ignorance, it will be very difficult for him to jump to the mode of transcendence. This is described in Bhagavad Gita chapter 7, verse number 28, where it says that you have to be steady in the mode of goodness to be steady on the path of spirituality. And I have given the example, I'll repeat the example right now, that on 31st of December every year, from the Toronto temple, His Holiness Bhaktimarg Swami and many devotees, they go to the city hall in right around midnight, because around city hall midnight there is this midnight party where everybody is dancing and drinking and have no sense control. Now, when the midnight party ends at the city hall, then everybody is going back. So devotees stay very close to where everybody is going to walk to catch the subway, because subway is the easiest mode of transportation. So we are all devotees, they stand very close to where everybody will be passing by from the city hall to go to the subway. And in middle, they meet devotees. Bhaktimarg Swami is there, other devotees, they are all chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Now these people are drunk. I'll tell you, I have also been there at midnight for this with Bhaktimarg Swami. These people are drunk. But when they hear this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, they are dancing. What are they doing? They are doing devotional service. And not only they are dancing there, they dance for half an hour, 1 hour, and then everybody is going back to their home, and devotees also come back to the temple. So these drunkards, they are literally in the lowest mode of ignorance. They come together with Bhaktimarg Swami to the temple and attend Mangal Aarti. So this one time, one day in the year, they attend Mangal Aarti and then you never see them again until next 31st December. Why? Because they are in the mode of ignorance. They are not steady. They cannot be steady in devotional service. Therefore, it's described that we have to be steady at the mode of goodness, but we don't stick to goodness. We have to also transcend the material mode of goodness. We have to come to the level of transcendence. Prabhu?
Okay, Prabhu, thank you.
Meghna?
I was almost thinking that, they went from the mode of ignorance to the mode of transcendence with substance use.
Yeah.
Which lasted for a short time only, because after that they don't get seen again, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you are correct. And that's exactly why if you have to become steady on the path of spirituality, so we have populated multiple charts in Bhagavad Gita. So except for batch 6 and 7 devotees, we have populated 3 charts for chapter 14, chapter 17, and chapter 18, where we have listed activities in various modes to judge that, okay, I am doing this activity which is in the mode of ignorance. What do I have to do to come to the mode of goodness so that I become steady in the mode of goodness in all activities of my daily life? Everybody on the same page? Okay. So now you have on page 1, you have the bottom right box to populate, and the title of this box is Attitude. So my spiritual master, His Grace Vaisheshkata Sadhikari, has a punchline from one of his lecture, which says, attitude determines your altitude. So this is a very important point explained in the preface. We'll soon read that advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. So what does attitude mean here? Is it positive attitude, or is it thinking that we will be able to achieve whatever we desire? So Srila Prabhupada has a specific context, and the answer is that Srila Prabhupada is talking about sense and mind control. Sense and mind control may seem very difficult task, but if a devotee is determined that I want mind and sense control, then that practice will eventually lead to mind and sense control. So let's read preface, the last paragraph, which starts with advancement in Krishna consciousness. Gulshan?
Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. A follower of the Krishna consciousness movement should become a perfect Goswami. Vaishnavas are generally known as Goswamis. In Vrindavan, this is the title by which the director of each temple is known. One who wants to become a perfect devotee of Krishna must become a Goswami. Go means the senses and Swami means the master. Unless one controls his senses and mind, one cannot become a Goswami. To achieve the highest success in life by becoming a Goswami and then a pure devotee of the Lord, one must follow the instructions known as Updesh Amrit, which have been given by Srila Rupa Goswami. Srila Rup Goswami has given many other books such as Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Vidagdha Madhava, and Lalit Madhava. But the Upadeshamrit constitutes the first instructions for neophyte devotees. One should follow these instructions very strictly, then it will be easier to make one's life successful. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Prabhupada said, yes, initially may seem very difficult, the mind and sense control. But if you follow Upadeshamrit, and this is the first instruction for neophyte devotees, neophyte like me, and then it will become easier and your life will become successful. Questions, comments, realizations. I have given you a lot of heavy overview of the entire Upadeshamrit. I want everyone to pause and think and ask questions.
So, Prabhuji, like these are for neophyte devotees, these instructions. So there are more instructions for advanced devotees because these only are difficult to follow.
You are correct. Advanced devotees have more instructions to follow. This is just for neophyte like me to first have mind and sense control. Otherwise, there is no scope for advancing. Rest of you? Silence. Everybody on the same page?
Yes, Prabhu.
Nathan Prabhu?
So we can't be just a devotee without becoming a Goswami. We can't just be just a pure devotee.
So pure devotee, you are a Goswami. Pure devotee means you have mind and sense control. We'll soon read what does Goswami means. Goswami means you have mind and sense control. That's a Goswami. Otherwise, you are just trying to do some spiritual endeavor. Yes, you are getting benefit, no doubt about it. But your progress is very less. You may continue doing spiritual endeavors without mind and sense control for ever, but you will not go back home to Godhead without mind and sense control.
So pure devotee means Goswami.
That is correct. So we'll soon read. It's there in text number 1. This topic will come up. What exactly is Goswami will come up in text number 1.
Okay, thank you.
Lakshmi?
Hare Krishna. Yeah, I'm just hesitating before asking because it's obvious that my ignorance is too much. But the earlier paragraph mentioned the most exalted pastime of Krishna was the conjugal love with the gopis.
Yeah.
And then here we are talking about sense control. And I'm not understanding, like, why is it this way? Like, I mean, why did Krishna talk about conjugal love and then ask us to control ourselves? I'm not understanding that.
Yeah, very good. This is described at great length in Srimad Bhagavatam. It's in Canto 1, the chapter where Krishna enters Dwarka. I will tell you the chapter in a moment. Where Krishna entered Dwarka and to meet with all his queens. So he has 16,108 queens. So this chapter in Canto 1, chapter 11 which is titled Lord Krishna's Entrance in Dwarka. This describes that this conjugal love has nothing to do with physical love. The relationship of Krishna and the gopis is not the physical lusty relationship that we know in the material world. So Lord Ram, yes, I said Lord Ram embracing Hanuman. So externally both look like males, although Hanuman at the soul level is a female. But if you just look at the external level, that Lord Ram embracing Hanuman is identical to Lord Krishna embracing Srimati Radharani, because both are reciprocation activities and they have nothing to do with lust. Both are identical. So therefore, what Lakshmi pointed out is a very important point of what I described at the start today, what Prabhupada has said, that one should follow studying the scriptures in sequence and not just jump from one scriptures to other. Many people, they skip Bhagavad Gita and they jump to Srimad Bhagavatam. And even in Srimad Bhagavatam, they skip the first 9 cantos and they jump to canto 10 in around chapters 29-30. There are a few chapters about Ras Leela there, because they want to discuss or read the conjugal pastimes. And Prabhupada explains this, that unless you first understand the first 9 cantos, that who is this Supreme Personality of Godhead, what is his relationship with Prakriti, what is his relationship with other energies, without that understanding, you will misunderstand Canto 10, which is intimate pastimes, including the pastimes like Ras Leela. So this relationship between Krishna and the gopis is just a reciprocation between Lord and his devotees. It has nothing to do with lust at all. In Srimad Bhagavatam, we'll discuss when we reach there. In Srimad Bhagavatam, this Canto 1, chapter 11, where Lord Krishna enters Dwarka, some of the queens from the 16,108 queens, some of the queens tried to attract Krishna by making some facial expressions or some gestures, but Krishna was not attracted at all. Krishna's transcendental sense were not attracted at all to these artificial gestures. Only when the same gopis, the same queens, satisfied Krishna by unalloyed devotional service, only then Krishna was satisfied. So it is only devotional service that satisfies Krishna. So there is a rasa that those gopis in the Madhurya rasa, which is referenced as conjugal love, but has nothing to do with lust. It's love, it's pure love. Lakshmi?
Thank you, Hare Krishna. I think it's the word conjugal.
You are correct.
That is what is confusing, because it really, the way they translate conjugal is, it's sexual relationships in a marriage, right? So
yeah, so you are correct, and I clarified that conjugal love has nothing to do with sexual relationship. It is pure love. It's just that it is at the Madhurya rasa, it's more intimate relation. Not everybody can have except Srimati Radharani and the gopis.
thank you, Hare Krishna.
Very good inquiry, very good hearing with rapt attention. Rest of you? Okay, my next slide. Tell me if you all like the slide that you have on screen. You all love to do homework? I got silence. Yes, no. Okay. So it is not homework, it is spiritual endeavor. So have undivided attention. Standard spiritual endeavor after every class of Nectar of Instruction is to read all the text that we have covered. So today we only covered the overview and the preface. So reread all the overview and the preface again, and all of you will populate on a Google form. You will explain at least one striking point and you will ask at least one inquiry. So it's a mandatory homework. So how I have covered nectar of instruction for all previous batches, I don't explain 100% points from the text. Today I have covered the entire preface. Today is just a setting the page. On a go forward basis, I will not explain the entire text. I will explain important points. You will read the text and you will provide striking points as well as you will provide inquiries. So as I have been already saying so many times today, that Nectar of Instruction book looks like a very tiny book, but is a very important book, and each statement in Nectar of Instruction is very deep. So you will need a lot more time to read the Nectar of Instruction book for after every class, because you will need to contemplate on each statement in Nectar of Instruction. Nectar means concentrated. So Nectar of Instruction is instruction in concentrated form. Therefore, each statement will get expanded in so many points. Therefore, do not allocate only 15 minutes or so to read and complete your spiritual endeavor, even if it is 2-3 pages of a tiny book to read. No, you will need a lot more time to contemplate on each statement of Bhagavad Gita. So these are first two homework. They are standard. Somebody will be repeating all 4 homework points. Third homework point. You all will memorize Bhagavad Gita verses. So Bhagavad Gita, you will memorize 1.1, 2.7 and 2.13. So you should have all of them memorized together, one after the other. So some of you, those coming for services here in Toronto Temple, you have practiced this at least to a certain extent, but they all should flow naturally. And you will realize that when you memorize the first one, you feel, yeah, I know it very well. Then you memorize the second one, then you forget the first. So you should be able to memorize all of them. I will recite all 3 right now. So Bhagavad Gita 1.1, Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsava Mamaka Pandavas Chaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya. 2.7 is Karpanya Dosha Upahata Swabhava Pachami Tvam Dharma Samuta Chetasha Yat Shreyasyam Nishchitam Buru Vitanme Shishyasya Teham Sadi Mam Tvam Prapanam. And 2.13, Dehino Asmin Yatha Dehe Kaumaram Yonam Jara Tatha Dehantra Prapti Dhirastatra Namuyati. So either in Sanskrit or in English or just the essence of all these 3 verses, should know it, should memorize all of these verses. And the 4th spiritual endeavor is for you all to message me if you want to hear this lecture. So Lakshmi correctly pointed out about mind and sense control, that why are we talking about mind and sense control? So I recommend that you listen to Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 5, Batch 1 and 2 class recording on creation, which will make you realize that how our body is largely made of false ego and ignorance. So I will send this lecture recording only to those who individually ask me for this Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3 Chapter 5 class recording. I'm not going to send it in the group. So if you are interested to have your mind and sense control, then you can connect with me. Or if you want, I will send Prabhupada lecture. So the homework number 4, you have two choices. You can either listen to Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3 Chapter 5 Batch 1 and 2 class recording, or I can send you Prabhupada lecture. So I want someone to please repeat all 4 homework points.
I'm happy to do it.
Go ahead.
So point 1 is weekly read the text that up to where we have covered. Number 2 is explain one striking point and second part is have one inquiry.
On a Google form, yeah.
Number 3 is memorize Bhagavad Gita verses. For this week, it is 1.1, 2.7, and 2.13.
Very good.
And number 4 is message you if we want to listen to the lecture, one of two options, the Srimad Bhagavatam lecture or Prabhupada's lecture on mind control.
Yeah, so Prabhupada lecture, so these lectures are not on mind control. Prabhupada lecture is just a Bhagavad Gita lecture that I will send. Okay. Everybody on the same page? Questions, comments, realizations? Thank you, Meghna. Very good. Everybody feels comfortable about nectar of instruction? You got a lot of overview. I basically explained a lot of points of nectar of instruction in the overview chart. I want to hear from everybody. Lakshmi?
Hare Krishna, I'm just curious why you asked us to memorize chapter 1, verse 1, which is just like a conversation between Sanjaya and them.
Yeah, we will recite many verses, many important verses on our every week, after every week. So it's just a start. 1.1 is also a very important verse, even though it's spoken by Dhritarashtra, it's a very important verse.
Okay, thank you, Hare Krishna.
I want to hear from everyone. What do you feel? Silence, even after I ask everyone to unmute. I'm here to serve you all. If you don't speak, I will not know anything.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, feel comfortable.
Okay, thank you. Matan Prabhu.
Is all these 9 stages are explained in the nectar of instruction?
The 9 stages are described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, not in nectar of instruction. But they flow. The information for that flows in nectar of instruction. They are described in Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Okay, yeah, I didn't write anything on some boxes. It's all blank. I don't know. Maybe not covered.
You can get the recording and list and populate your boxes.
Okay, thank you.
So whosoever wants the class recording can also message me. I will only remember so much. So message me if you need class recordings.
So we covered all the boxes today?
We covered all the boxes today, yes. Yeah, so nectar of instruction, overview, slide 1 and 2, means page 1 and 2. We covered all the boxes. Lakshmi.
Hare Krishna, the introduction that the preface mentions some like list of names of Goswamis.
Yeah.
Like that, those were the only like Goswamis, and then that was it, like the 6 Goswamis. And
they are the initial Goswamis. They are direct disciples of Srila Prabhu, not Srila Prabhu, the 6 Goswamis are direct disciples of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then all pure devotees, all spiritual masters are also Goswamis. So the word Goswami, as Matan Prabhu asks, will come up in text number 1 in our next class. What does Goswami mean? Goswami means one who has control of mind and senses. That's a Goswami. And one who does not have mind and sense control is Godas. So Go means senses. So Goswami means one who is controller of his mind and senses. And Godas means one who is servant of mind and senses, means one who does not have control. That's a Godas. So nectar of instruction describes the initial Goswamis, meaning the initial direct associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but then whosoever went on to become a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada and all the spiritual masters, they are all also Goswamis. They are mind and sense control.
Yes, thank you, Hare Krishna. My other question might seem strange, but like there seems to be a lot of, all of them seem to be from the Bengal area.
Yeah, you are correct. They are all from Bengal because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Bengal and they were all around Bengal region. You are absolutely correct. So Chaitamita, so the verse that Lakshmi was reading in the preface, that actually is in Bengali. That Rupa Raghunatha Padeha Abe Akuti Kabe Ahama Ujaba Se Yugala Priti. So that is in Bengali. So Chaitanya Chaitamita is originally in Bengali and it's just translated in English for us.
Okay, thank you, Hare Krishna.
So as I said at the start, I think some of you joined partway through. So I will bring up this slide again on the screen, that for batch 5 class recordings, please message Sumnima at her number +977 984 157 3434. So Sumnima is physically in Nepal, except for the timing difference between Nepal and here in North America. Otherwise, Sumnima is very diligent to respond to you as soon as is possible for her. If you are trying to get a recording, say during the daytime here, which would be night or middle of night, and you need the recording, by all means, you can message me as well. So introduce yourself to Sumnima when you are asking for the recording, so she can save your number on her device. And at the start, I already mentioned to Sumnima that Meghna Samant and Lakshmi generally have during a month multiple weeks for work related, and they will need recordings. But either way, message Sumnima and she will send you the recording for this batch 5 class recordings whenever you need it. And by all means, you can message me also if you need. So for example, now it already is night time. So by the time Sumnima gets the recording for today's class, it will anyway become late. So those of you who need for today, by all means, you can message me. Otherwise, get it from her. Sumnima has very good service attitude, and she will respond to you right away. Okay, we won't cover more. We have about 15 minutes still left, but we won't cover more. So use the time to go over the overview chart that we have populated, and I'm going to send the Google link for you to populate striking points and inquiries. And the approach for the next class onwards is that we will start every class by me first answering all your inquiries, and then we will cover nectar of instruction text. So this has been very successfully working for rest of the batches for many different subject matters, for nectar of instruction, nectar of devotion, Shishopanishad, and of course Srimad Bhagavatam across all other batches. Some of you are there in other batches where you have seen this approach. So those from other batches, you want to share your thoughts on this approach, that how we first discuss the inquiries and then the subject matter in the text? Has that been helpful for you all? Somebody from the other batches?
Yes.
Kunal Prabhu, yes. Somebody?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. It was helpful.
All right.
Yes. Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you, everybody. Do anybody has any questions, comments, realizations?
So this originally this also was written in Bengali. This or in NOI.
NOI was in Sanskrit.
Oh, NOI was in Sanskrit.
Yeah, Chaitanya Charitamrita is in Bengali. So Nectar of Instruction, if you read the text of Nectar of Instruction, it flows in Sanskrit. Like we'll
So it's
memorize.
written by Rupa Goswami.
Yeah, Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion is by Rupa Goswami.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Are we okay to stop here?
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.